All right, let's just forget everything you think you know about history. Seriously, timelines, empires, all those famous names, toss them out. We're not here to study history, we're here to decompile it.
So what if everything you've been told about the past is just a bug in the system? I mean, what if it wasn't lived at all, but generated, like a backstory, a piece of code written just to give our world some context? And, well, what if that program is riddled with bugs? Let's fire up the diagnostic and see what we find.
You've probably heard of the Mandela effect, right? People misremembering things, they call them glitches in the matrix. Honestly, that's just a UI error, a surface-level symptom. We're not interested in that. No, we're going way deeper. We're hunting for the flaw in the actual source code. See, to find this kind of flaw, you can't think like a historian. That's the wrong approach. You have to think like a developer. You got to treat the entire human timeline as one massive data set. And you know what happens when you run a data set that big through a debugger? You start to see things, strange things, patterns, errors, and something else. Something that looks deliberate, like a signature.
Okay, so any programmer out there will tell you every developer has a tell. A certain way they comment their code, maybe a favorite variable name they always use, or sometimes it's a constant, a specific number they just keep plugging in over and over again. It's like their signature, hidden right there in plain sight.
And in what looks like the source code of our reality, that signature, it's a very specific, very strange number. A hard-coded constant that logically has no business connecting all the great civilizations of the ancient world. But it does.
The number is 529. Yeah, 23 squared. You're going to want to remember that number. It's the key, it's the constant, the one variable that seems to hold this entire artificial construct together. Okay, look at this. This isn't history. This is architecture. The underlying framework of our timeline, and it is not random. Just look. The start of the Jewish era? Simple math. 9 times 529 minus 1,000. The Byzantine era? 11 times 529 minus 311. You see? The Babylonian, the Greek, they're all just neat, simple functions based on this one constant. Come on, that's not organic history. That's compiled code.
Now I know what you're probably thinking, because I thought it too. This is crazy. It's just numerology. If you go looking for patterns, you'll find patterns, right? A coincidence, a little game with numbers. That's what the rational part of your brain is screaming. And believe me, mine was too. But here's the thing. A good programmer doesn't just leave a signature. They also make mistakes, especially when they get lazy, when they start cutting corners. And what's the biggest corner any developer can cut? Reusing old code. I mean, why write a whole new subroutine when you can just copy-paste an old one, right? Why design a brand new asset when you can just duplicate an existing one? It saves time, it saves memory, but it also leads to bugs. Identical bugs that suddenly start popping up in completely different parts of the program. And this is what that looks like. I know, it's a mess, but developers have a name for this: spaghetti code. What you're seeing here are the connections between different versions of biblical history: Byzantine, Jewish, Septuagint, Vulgate. Now, look at the numbers here: 747, 500, 309. They're the exact same values, just with some basic addition or subtraction. It's a classic copy-paste error. The programmer didn't create 4 unique historical timelines. They wrote one and then just copied it and tweaked the variables. That is elegant, it's deliberate, and frankly, it's lazy programming. It's an asset flip, a reused plot point. There is just no way something like that happens naturally. It's impossible. So, where does that leave us? What does all this mean? It means that once you see the code, you can't unsee it. The whole foundation of our history, it's not a series of random events. It's a pre-rendered backstory, a lore file for simulation. And that implies that all those historical figures we read about, the kings, the prophets, the great explorers, they might not even have been real people. They could have just been algorithms, non-playable characters, NPCs, just running on a script. Their entire lives, their stories, all of it calculated to fit a predetermined narrative. So, here it is, the final forensic report. Anomaly detected. We found the programmer's signature, the constant 529. System error confirmed. We found the 1492 copy-paste event. Hypothesis: reality is a generated construct. And the status on that hypothesis? Confirmed.
Look, the evidence in the code, it's just too strong to ignore anymore. The patterns are too clear, the glitches are too obvious. The debate about whether we're in a simulation, it's over.
The real question, the one we need to be asking now, is who's the programmer? Why did they write this simulation in the first place? And if our entire history is just code that can be rewritten, what happens during the next system update?